Hey guys, Shadow Reviewer here, and today I'll be reviewing H20, Just Add Water, Season 2, Episode 35, Sea Change. Oh my god, this episode, man, it's just... Okay, I'll give you a little history. When I watched this series, the episode that I watched the most is this episode. Most because it's a good episode. And years later, now that I'm reviewing the series, I want to know if it still holds up. Yes, it does! Oh my god. This episode is just fantastic. It's satisfying in all the right ways, and it feels devastating in all the right ways. Okay, that feels a little off, but I'll explain. You see, after the girls broke things up with Charlotte, had she take it? Maybe I should fix up a little bit, maybe realize what I did wrong. She pretty much isolates Lewis from the girls. Especially Cleo, seeing how they're exes. And Charlotte, if you think she was bad in the last episode, get a load of this one. Honestly, this episode has a load of fantastic scenes that I've narrowed it down to 3. I'll get to the first one. Okay, so I'll get to a little bit of Cleo in a bit. But the first one is, honestly, it's just psychopathically evil. Charlotte throughout this whole episode. Wow. Okay, so the first scene, honestly, the first scene that I like is where Charlotte confronts Claire and pretty much lies about all a bunch of BS. How Lewis doesn't want to see her, how two-faced he is, and pretty much lying in all right ways. She attacks Cleo with water, who thankfully fights back, but not enough. Takes the locket that, yeah, Charlotte is right. It did belong to her grandmother, but you have no right to take it, you... Honestly. Oh, yeah. And when she takes it for repairs, she outright lies to Lewis that Cleo gave it to her. And when Cleo walks in, tells Lewis to put the necklace on her, and pretty much outright kisses Lewis right in front of Cleo. And all while smiling that evil little smile. This is pretty much Charlotte at her most evil. I'm just gonna say it. This is Charlotte at her most evil. She knows what she's doing. She outright does it. Just to isolate Cleo a little more. And wow. And when Cleo tries to call up Lewis for support, she outright steals Lewis's phone so he can't contact her. Wow. Just wow. Honestly, the scene where Cleo tries to, leaves a devastating text message. Honestly, I'm gonna talk about Phoebe Tonkin's performance. Her performance in this episode is honestly the most devastating, heartbreaking, and emotional. Honestly, the scene where she leaves the voice message is honestly beautifully acted. It is devastating, and it's... Sorry, I need a moment. Honestly, one of the most devastating moments. She feels utterly isolated. She can't talk to the girls about how she emotionally feels. And her best friend pretty much just... She can't talk to him. Even her family, she can't talk to anybody about this. Even the scene where her father tries to get her to do the dishes and stuff. We know she can't. And it's honestly just heartbreaking seeing all this. Honestly, Phoebe Tonkin, you deserve an Oscar for this performance. This is the episode that makes me cry the most. Oh my god. Sorry. Honestly, the scene alone is utterly fantastic. It's just really beautiful acting. Alright, so the second scene that I love the most is where Lewis finds about all of Charlotte's BS. The scene where he breaks up with Charlotte is one of the most satisfying moments in the series. Pretty much, he sees through the bullshit. She outright admits what she's done. And how does he take it? Pretty much right dumping her. That has got to be one of the most beautifully done. And it's so utterly satisfying. Thank you, Lois. You finally realized the kind of girl you're dating. Thank you. But the third and final scene that I want to talk about has got to be my favorite scene throughout the whole episode. And honestly, if I'd made the top 5 best scenes from the show, this is ought to be a number 1. Why? Because right after he saves Cleo from a bunch of sharks, the scene where they talk out their emotions is one of the most beautifully acted, beautifully scored, and one of the most gorgeous, fantastic writing that I've ever seen. I mean, Lewis finally realizing that Cleo is the one for him. Hell, he outright realizes that when he talks to Max. Yes, Max is in this episode, and he's only there for like 2 scenes. But again, nice acting from Martin Vaughn. Keep it up. But the scene where they talk out their emotions is fantastic. And honestly, the scene where they kiss and get back together is the cherry on top of perfection. This scene alone is the one I replay the most when I watch this episode. It's just beautifully done. And honestly, it gets better from here in the next season. Angus McLaurin and Phoebe Tonkin act the hell out of this scene. And it's gotta be the best of acting that I've ever seen. And I love how it wraps it all up at the end. Cleo and Lois getting back together. Cleo's family. Especially Kim. There's one line for her that I can feel actual genuine emotion from the actress that plays Kim. I'll look it up, put it in the description. There's a line where I was kind of thrown up at that point. She is such a loser. Really, Kim? But the scene where they're all talking it out, Cleo's family and her friends, there's one line from Kim that, like, aw, that actually feels real. She looks pretty in this picture. Honestly, Kim, give me more moments like this from you. That's genuine sisterly love. Honestly, the acting from Dawn Satori is also fantastic. And I love how they all genuinely realize the pain that Cleo is going through, the isolation. And now that she's with Lewis, she feels happy again. Her friends finally realizing they should have been there for her. Her family realizing they should have been there for her. Honestly, it wraps up in a beautiful bow. And the final scene is honestly some of the most decent acting from Brittany Brines. Again, Brittany Brines, your acting is amazing. You make Charlotte one of the most despicable characters in the show. Honestly, you should get more Honestly, the acting from you is phenomenal. And the scene where she doesn't talk with no dialogue is honestly some of the most really good face acting. The scene where she's utterly angry, realizing she's lost everything, and pretty much just loses it. Honestly, it pretty much brings in that angry emotion to the next episode neatly. And I can't wait to see where this all wraps up in the final episode. And so, that's my review of Sea Change. Honestly, the best episode of the show, period. This episode is absolutely phenomenal. Tomorrow, we wrap up with the final episode of Season 2, Episode 26, Unfathomable. Sorry if I butchered that. Unfathomable. Until then, I'm the Shadow Reviewer, signing off!